Let's go in depth on the quarterback situation. What do you really think the Broncos think of Brock Osweiler right now?
Well, I think if they have some encouragement, because he's got the skill set, he showed flashes. I think it's his process on the field needs to quicken up, and I think it's mixed upstairs. Some wonder if maybe he'll ever see the field and read the way he needs to. Others think that will come with reps, that all he needs is reps. And I also think that there's a feeling upstairs that the skill set would work in Gary Kubiak's system, that Kubiak could coach him up. For instance, he's a better athlete and might have more ability than Matt Schaub. And Matt Schaub actually had, I think, 2 Pro Bowl seasons with Houston before he fell off the earth.
In 2009, I think, he led the league in a whole bunch of statistical categories.
Passing yardage, maybe
He's
touchdowns.
terrific.
Right. And then for whatever reason, he got the yips. He forgot how to play quarterback.
Wasn't it 2012 that the Texans came to Denver early in the season, and he actually looked good in that game?
Joe Mays knocked off his ear,
Yeah.
and he still showed guts in that game and played a tremendous game. He did.
And that was a Kubiak run offense.
Right. He played very well in 2012, and then what happened to Kubiak in Houston and what happened to the Texans, one, they had a lot of injuries to key players. You know, the linebacker that's always hurt. He got hurt again. Daniels got hurt again. I think Mario Williams, I'm not sure if he was still there, but he was always hurt. And then mostly, though, Schaub got the yips at quarterback. He forgot how to play.
And people say all the time, well, you can't judge Osweiler because he hasn't had a chance in the NFL. What the player I saw in college, and I love the way you put it, is great body, great arm, good legs, zero instinct for the game, just none. And I was like, you can't do that. But to be fair to Osweiler, he didn't play a whole lot of games in college either. So
he's a one-year starter,
right? So
he's actually started, and that's the other thing about Brock is he's basically played 1 year out of the past 6 or 7 of his life. And
it's like riding a bike.
It's going well.
It's more dangerous than playing football.
Yeah. The other thing is he's had to learn. It's been good and bad with having to learn the Peyton Manning offense. I think
it's been awful for him because only one guy can run Manning's offense. Brady can't run it. Montana couldn't run it. I think he's the only guy that can run that offense.
Yeah. And I've talked to Brock about this, and this was after the San Diego game where he went in. He got his one series. It was the only really meaningful snaps he's had. And he looked like the game was going a million miles an hour.
It did.
You know. And I talked to him. I says, sometimes I think that you need to just, play like you're in your backyard. Mm-hmm. And it does look like, because Manning's all cerebral out there when he plays. It's all mental. And the game is slow to him. Mm-hmm. But it looked like it was fast. And I think if Brock doesn't think and just goes out there and plays, I think he'd be better off.
I want to take a closer look at Manning and Osweiler and the dynamic of contracts. I found it to be very interesting that they signed Manning to a 5-year deal. I don't think any of us really believe he's going to play 5 years. And Brock Osweiler, 4-year deal, but that's because he was a rookie. Osweiler's deal comes up before Manning's deal. What are they going to do if this guy never gets on the field? What are they? How do you decide how you pay him?
I've been writing in the mailbag for 3 years. The Broncos quarterback of the future is Manning, because of what you just said. It's not Osweiler. His contract is shorter. That's the way it works in the NFL. As a rookie, he has a 4-year contract.
Right.
Manning had 5. Osweiler's gone before Manning is.
Right.
So I've always said Manning is their quarterback of the future. When Osweiler's contract's up, Manning's still the quarterback.
Right, but what do you think? But Manning's going to be gone. What do you think they're going to do?
I think
with
right
Osweiler?
now, we'll have to this year. I think they're going to make a decision, probably based on how Brock. I think Brock's preseason's going to be big for him.
They're gonna make a decision on giving him a long-term contract on the preseason.
If they don't if they don't start Brock Osweiler in a regular season game, they're either crazy or they were just plain out of their minds to draft him in the first place. Here's my view on it. John Elway was hedging his bet. He was saying, I think Peyton Manning will be a real good quarterback for us, but in case he's not, I'm going to take this young guy as insurance, so I don't have 0 quarterbacks. And so in essence, Brock has done his job. He stood there and he's gone, oh, let me in the game. I can't. Oh, way to go, Peyton. That's what his job was. And I don't think if we've seen in this last offseason that John Elway will say, you know what? John Fox, those division titles not good enough for me. You know what? We didn't win a Super Bowl doing it Peyton's way. If he would change his mind on those big items, why wouldn't he change his mind on Brock? Like, okay, I had him for 4 years and I never really got the chance to use him, and I don't really know if he's any good or not. Let him go. I'll go find somebody else to play quarterback.
Here's a possibility. Second round of this draft.
If they take a quarterback.
They take a quarterback.
If they take a quarterback, I'm going to go on record as saying this right now. Well, maybe I shouldn't go on record as saying this right now.
Who's that guy?
John Elway's an idiot.
Why? No, he's not.
He's an idiot.
No.
I'll tell you why.
What?
Because he wasted.
Okay, then Bill Belichick's an idiot because Bill Belichick just did that.
Did what?
Bill Belichick just took Ryan Mallett in the 3rd round.
Okay.
After 3 years, he trades him away, and he just took Jimmy Garoppolo in the 2nd round.
And he's just doing
with Tom Brady, and the Broncos have Peyton Manning. It's the exact same thing.
Well, there's a difference in age too, and there's something else to be said for this. We talk about Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers sat on the bench for how many years? 3 years. 3 years. If you don't feel confident in Brock Osweiler, that's your problem.
They obviously don't think he's Aaron Rodgers. We can make that conclusion.
Yeah, we can make that. But
it'll be one of the biggest draft busts in Broncos history if he doesn't play.
I also want to say, Aaron Rodgers' first year, they drafted Brian Brom in the 2nd round and Matt Flynn in the 7th round. And Brom turned out to be a bust. Okay. Not a good 2nd round pick. But the Packers backed it up with the young quarterback also. It's kind of the formula. So I think the formula is there for the Broncos to draft a petty who else? Who's the Oregon State quarterback that's got the strong arm?
Sean Mannion.
Yeah, he's another guy that I wouldn't be surprised if the 2nd or 3rd round. And remember, the Broncos have 4. They think they're getting 4 compensatory picks.
Correct.
You can't trade those picks, but you can add them as depth. But they're going to be able to move all over that draft board. I say they get. I do believe they're going to get a quarterback in this draft.
But that high?
And I think it was a mistake for Elway to take Brock when he's gambling. If you're gambling on Manning, you need to push all your chips to the middle of the table. And so you needed to take Levante David there. You had to do that. But he's not an idiot because he is doing exactly what Belichick is doing. He's like hedging his bet. He's saying, well, I think Tom Brady's going to be great at 36, 37, 38, but in case he's not, I'm going to have a quarterback I feel comfortable with.
Well, they signed Peyton Manning. They made the leap of faith, first of all, was in Manning. He signed March 20th.
Yeah.
The draft was a month later when they got Osweiler.
Yeah.
And as I recall, on March 20th, Peyton Manning still couldn't throw the ball 10 yards. Or, I mean, he had the I did over-exaggerate.
Yes.
How's that?
He could throw it farther than 10 yards.
He could throw it 10 yards, but there were some passes. He had a long way to go. The leap of faith they had in him.
When they signed, on the day they signed him, he was not NFL game ready. He was just not. And that's to Elway's credit, too. He says, I'm taking a chance. He's a Hall of Famer, and he's not ready to play an NFL game right now, but I'm confident March, April, May, June, July. In 5 months, he will be.
Here's the difference, and I hear what you're saying about Belichick. And Brady is clearly not ready to retire.
Right.
But Manning's going to be done after this season. So why draft another quarterback? You have Brock Osweiler. You've groomed him for 3 years. You're going to let him walk and then draft a quarterback?
Why not have them both compete?
Right.
You also, here's the other thing. Right now, you don't know if you're signing, and you're going to go into the draft. You don't know if Brock Osweiler's coming back. Right now, the Broncos are looking at the possibility. Now that I think about it, they are drafting a quarterback. They might go in the 1st round with a quarterback.
Oh, man, the city's going to explode.
They're not going to go in the 1st round, but you're right. You know what?
Manning and Osweiler could both be gone. At this time next year.
If you have how many?
In December 31st.
Wow.
Okay.
They could both be gone.
We're breaking news here, and I'm listening this time.
Okay. 10 picks with the compensatory, however you say, the extra picks, they could have as many as 10 picks.
Compensation, just say.
Compensation, thank you. Then you're right. When they open your brain up, they're going to find pure genius. They have to take a quarterback.
They do.
They have
because
no
right
choice.
now, at the end of this year, they have.
I guess you're right.
They have Zach Keiser.
I mean, this time next year.
Because you think Osweiler's going to go for a hefty sum?
I have no idea.
He's not under contract after this year. But there's all kinds of options he can do, they can do. But right now, he's not under contract.
But why would they want to re-sign him and give him a good deal?
Well, they would, but why would he want to re-sign here?
Yeah.
After sitting on the bench for 4 years.
I think that he'd want to if you give him the money, obviously, that he wants, knowing Manning's not coming back.
But it's within the realm of possibility that on March 19th, 2016, you'll be sitting there, I'll be sitting here, and Klis will be sitting there, and he pulls out his phone and he gets a message from Brock and says, Mike, I'm going to Atlanta, or I'm going to Kansas City. And so John Elway might be a little smarter than me. He can figure that out. So if you've got 10 draft choices, make one of them a quarterback.
I mean, the Broncos could try to get Brock Osweiler on a $3 million a year, $4 million a year contract, which is backup money, which is good backup money.
Right.
Osweiler might want a chance to start somewhere else after sitting on the bench, and he will go anywhere but Denver. I don't know. Then again, this is definitely really a tough time, I would think, mentally for Brock in his career.
I believe it.
And it's tough for the Broncos upstairs. They've got to make a decision on him with Manning coming back.